Hey, what's up, people? How's it going there? All right, today I'm going to do one on a movie that has an RD tag in it. All right, this movie's it's pretty important. It's as far as it goes with archiving like historical moments in graffiti history, something like that. Yeah, because this is like 1989 is probably when they were shooting this movie because it was released in 1990. And you'll see the streets got graffiti on them fucking things. Not like the movies I was showing earlier from like the late 80s and stuff like that. Yeah, this is right, like that. Some of the movies I was showing is when graffiti was like more underground than above ground. But at this point, in New York City, the subways are clean, and a lot of it went up to the streets. And this movie is a real perfect example of that. And you'll even see people up from the subways, like John 1 and shit like that. Feck TFV, John 1, 156, stuff like that. Who else is up? TK, TNR is in it. I actually wrote a list. Yeah, I got it right here. All right, you got JA in it. You got TK, Sand, Dyer, Feck, Ray, TA7. I'm always talking about the TA7 crew on here. TA7, Ray. Yeah, Coop, he's always commenting and he follows me on here. Coop, leave a comment. Ray, TA7. You have Sev, like I always talk about Sev, TDT. John 1, I said that already. Yeah, I said Sand and Dyer, right? Yeah, they were in there too. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this movie was filmed at that point in life when the subways got buffed and the streets kind of started becoming a thing. However, my tag in this movie happens to be on the insides of the subway. And I always talk about the insides of the subway. A perfect example of it inside of a subway. I'm actually up with Lace, but Lace is over here. I'm over there. Now, in the subway, I'm going down vertical. Lace is also on the other side. He's up where you would pull the emergency brake. The train would stop. You pull that emergency brake, and that's where Lace is. He used to like that spot. He'd take that little rope and move it out the way, and he'd catch his tail going down it, let the rope drop. Yeah, that was a good spot for him. He used to like that because you could see it almost from the other end of the subway car. That was the spot he was after. My spot looks like I just got it as I was exiting that car to go into the next one, like a layup. What line that is? That's tricky as fuck. Yeah, I can't figure that out. Like, I would say that that is a six train, but the writers that are up on that thing didn't hit the sixes. So that's what's weird. Like they were never up on the sixes. Um, and I never saw them like uh, I never witnessed like them paint a flat double R or a J or an M or anything like that white. That was more like an IRT thing. If they were going to paint one of those, maybe burgundy, and even that I wouldn't see on like a BMT or an IND. I can't get a good understanding of how many doors are on the train either. If it was four doors, then I would know it's a BMT, IND, something like that. If it was three doors, I would know it would be an IRT, which would mean a number line, like a one, a two, three, a four, a five, a six, a seven. You know what I mean? Like a number. If not, it would be a letter line if it was four doors because they were longer, bigger cars. I can't get a grasp on it because of the writers that were up in it. What else can I say about it? Yeah, also, my tag is right side, like that. I was up on that car, on the insides with a marker going down. Now, if you look when she turns around and talks to some fella that's sitting, Frankenhooker is the name of the movie. I don't even think I mentioned the name of the movie. The name of the movie is Frankenhooker. Well, anyway, if you look at this Frankenhooker, she's like a Frankenstein that's a hooker, but, yeah, freaky shit. Great movie, man. We'll get into that in a minute. So anyway, she looks down at the guy, asks him if he wants a date. And if you look right next to her, there's an old Coke 2 tag, but it's upside down. Eh? And there's also a Venn tag, I believe, that's upside down. Now, Coke 2, I never remember ever in my life seeing him up on a 6, unless it was switched from a 4 or a 5 or something like that. And tune even. But what it is at that point, the train would have more graffiti on it. It would be destroyed, destroyed, destroyed. If it was a 2 or 5, yeah, because the 6s was nice inside, man. They were clean, man. People were scared to fuck with the 6s. After the, what is it, the Dead End Kids, Sweet, JR, Ace, We, CR, Tony, after they started getting in there real good, and then Cat Crew, Matt Bio, who else was with those guys? Thule, Brim, after those guys, and you had us, pretty much. Before all that, before they actually painted the IRTs, you had Lace. Yeah, Lace. Lace 357, which was Lace ESP back then with Nada. That was ESP. You had LK, El Puma, Mace, TLP, uh, PCP, TNT, TMT, but that would be switched over. But yeah, no, it was a lot going on there. And even had Zephyr, LK was hitting it. He would fall under TLP, I believe. Jam 2. Yeah, then they painted them beige and white. And we were like the third. I know the Dead End Kids were killing it. Tad's crew was killing it. And we squeezed right in there, or in the middle. We were like those guys were already turning it into a slut. And we came in and just tapped it. But if you want to look at it as a virgin stance of a subway after it got cleaned and painted beige on the insides, that's pretty much what happened. So I don't think it's a 6, although the amount of graffiti on it would be what a 6 would have. But then also, there's weird shit on that 6, like that, the inside of it. You see, I also think, what lines did I hit with a marker like that? And when did I hit them with lace? Okay? There's only like 2 or 3 lines that I went hard on with lace, with markers like that. And most of it was IRTs, to be truthful. So I'm led to believe that that is an IRT. And Cook 2 could be up on an IRT, and so could Ven. I mean, Ven was jumping around up there in Espionade with those guys up there. They got Cavs and them guys, Cavs, Keys, Cento, shit like that, Wayne. So it's possible he squeezed up in there and got a tag in it. Um, the red stuff that's spray painted on the inside of that train, I believe that that was done by the movie production company that made the movie. I believe that was extra added shit, like extra added graffiti by like what would you call them? The stagehands, the production company, the people that set the scene, and they make it look like in New York City. You know what I'm talking about? Like I actually see teams come out like before they're filming Law and Order and stuff. They'll start painting things, make them look busted up and shit. They'll even like make a scene where someone's homeless encampment is over here and shit like that. They'll do the same on the subway. They say it's got to be a little more messed up over here. We got to put red paint. So the art director or something like that will actually tell someone like pretty much like a laborer or something just to spray some spray paint there. I believe that's what it is because that looks like that shit ain't nothing from New York at all. Um, I believe when they filmed that movie that everyone in that scene would probably be actors or extras or something like that. And it was probably a train that was pulled out of service and just a whole big fake scene. I mean, that's what I would assume. Although the movie is very like low budget B. No, that's the best I could do about that. Also, the streets that you see with these graffiti tags on them, when I just said how now you could see the streets got destroyed because this is right after the subways went down, the graffiti went to the streets. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And this really does prove that to you guys from when I'm saying that. Like I lived through it. I've seen these transformations take place. What else can I say about it? No, you have to take into consideration too that particular location that them shots are filmed is what appears to be probably like a bar area, the Lower East Side. I didn't actually get a good look at the streets, or it just dawned on me now that I could probably, but that looks kind of like the East Village, West Village, something like that, where graffiti's always been prevalent. It's always been down there, Lower East Side and shit like that. Like I say, man, that's a whole different breed of graffiti writer down there, man. Them dudes, they make do with very little, man. Believe me, them dudes in the Lower East Side, like Tev, Senfor, even like TNS and all them guys, man. Yeah, Rockwell, all them dudes, man. They always been putting it in from jump. Yeah, Lower East Side, man. Like I said, it's a whole different breed of graffiti writer. Like the fucking way they do their little bubble letters, their fill-ins and shit. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's like so paint conservative, like nothing fancy. Just get it there and keep it moving. And their hand styles, oh man, off the fucking hook, 100%, man. Always the Lower East Side, man. In my eyes, man. Yeah, definitely. I like that shit. Yeah. All right, but so you got to take that into consideration. You had a lot of shit going on down there at that point in life. 89 and Save the Robots. That's probably closed down at that point. Um, yeah, you had like a lot of after hours and lounges and clubs and places where bands would play and shit. So it's a place that people frequent, that are going out having a good time or whatever. Like I was talking about in my last episode, they walk around, they're going from bar to bar with a can of spray paint or something. But I mean, that's not the case with like Feck or the TFV, Feck, or the case with TK, TNR. Them dudes, they were out there hard. They did that thing. JA also is up in the movie. He's another one. Obviously, he didn't just hit that block. That dude went off. So yeah, you got to take that shit into consideration. You can really see Sand Dyers, another group. Those guys, acid writers. Um, who else is up in it? I'm trying to peek at my list without peeking. Yeah. I watched little clips as I was getting my thing with my RD in it. And as I look, I write them down who I saw in it. So yeah, it's pretty much all that. Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. So the area, like, depending on the location, you could graffiti could pile up more. Like down there, that was kind of like the theme. People liked it. Like in my neighborhood, not so much, man. Yeah, they'll open up cases after your ass. They'll come after you. Yeah, you don't fuck around like that. A lot of neighborhoods are like that. But yeah, downtown, it kind of just fit the whole uh, Bohemian lifestyle would be the term. You got a lot of these guys running around down there thinking they're fucking Bob Dylan or something. Yeah, still till today, you got motherfuckers walking around with like acoustic guitars on their back and shit. Yeah. So yeah, a weird little a bohemian would be the proper term, like a bohemian lifestyle, where you kind of fit in there. Like everyone's an artist and a creator, and they're all hanging out, taking LSD or whatever the fuck they do nowadays. I don't know. Yeah, fuck them. I mean, yeah, a bunch of fucking hippies, bro, straight up. Yeah. But that's the village area. Yeah, I had all that squatting shit going on and stuff like that, Tompkins Square Park and stuff. Then you go Westmore, it's got its own reputation. Um, yeah. Now I'm thinking whether I should actually put all the clips of the graffiti that I found in this thing. 'Cause I didn't record the whole movie. I just hit, was it G and then the little square box, and I record the video that's playing on my little laptop here. Then I put it in Movie and I splice out the little part of mine and I save it and then I put it in after I'm talking here on this. So fuck it. Yo, straight up, man. The bottom line, that movie is a pisser. I suggest you watch it, man. Let me get into what the movie is actually about. It's about, now I'll break it down. It came out in 1990, and I mean, it's not like I'm destroying the plot for you or nothing. It's not like a newly released movie, but it's called Frankenhooker. All right, Frankenhooker. Hold on. It's called Frankenhooker, and it came out in 1990. Now, the movie is based on a guy whose wife gets ran over by a lawnmower and dies. I believe they just got married, dies. I forget the actual thing. If it happened on their wedding, or I think they were just having a barbecue in the backyard or something. And a fucking lawnmower rolls over. And he built this device. He's like electronics type fellow. He built this device where she could just sit there and use the remote control to do the lawnmower. So she's showing this off to her neighbors, and the thing runs over her feet, kills her. So now he's like, holy shit, my wife is dead. So he tries to bring her back to life. And he starts reanimating her and this and that, and all types of crazy shit ensues. So what he needs is a body. This is the funny part. So he goes out and he starts thinking about prostitutes. I mean, they're the number one person that would be pried on pretty much with everyone. Serial killers, they always go for the poor prostitutes, man. They don't get paid enough, man. Straight up. So yeah, he starts saying, prostitutes, yeah. And they go out and this and that, and of course they want money. And so now he realizes this is why this movie is so good. The crack epidemic. So they didn't even make fun of that. Like it's classic movie, man. Classic fucking movie, man. If you lived there, you'd be laughing. So he realized everyone's smoking this shit called crack, right? So he gets a little crack and he tries to reduplicate it, right? He reduplicates it, but he makes super crack. I swear to God, he makes this shit that's called super crack. So it makes you real high, fuck you up for a long time, all types of crazy shit, right? She's like, yeah, 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 yeah. So he's testing it on these mice. So the mice are smoking that shit and they blow up. Yeah, no, he keeps testing it. So finally one of them don't blow up. So he's like, okay, I made my super crack, you know. So he goes into the city because he lives in like Jersey. Funny shit. Now, he's got his wife's head. I forgot to mention this part. He's got it in like a freezer. You know, like, no, he actually got it in like this shit, like formaldehyde or something. But what happens is he goes into the city to get the prostitutes. He wants to introduce them to this super crack, right? So he meets this guy. He's like a pimp or something. Well, he is a pimp, actually, not or something. So he hooks him up. He's like, I need women. This now he's thinking to himself, like he talks to the head before he goes to New Jersey, and he's thinking to himself, yeah, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna like he's talking to his dead wife, but it's really just her head. And he's like, this is what I'm thinking. So he shows her a picture, like these big tits, like a thin waist, a nice ass. Like he sat there and built the perfect woman, like, fuck it, she's dead. Hey, why think small, right? Like, so he makes like these big tits on her and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like he's got this whole thing. He's like, now the ass. It all comes down to the ass. You gotta watch this movie, man. It's fucking funny as fuck. And it's almost like soft porn to a certain level. I mean, today's standards, what's going on? That movie probably definitely wouldn't fly. Although it is kind of like on a feminist tip, like man, she's running around fucking shit up. But yeah, it's fucking classic movie, man. For that time period, And they're like real New Yorkers too. I think it was like a college crew that put this movie together. Maybe from NYU or something like that. They had a very good film program going on over there. But yeah, man, they made a good fucking movie, man. Funny as fuck. So he gets all these girls together. The pimp is like, okay, he's like, yeah, I need 6 women or something like that. They get all these women together in like a tenement apartment similar to the one I'm in right now. Lines them all up against the wall. So he's like checking out their asses and their tits and shit. And they're like naked and stuff. So squeezing their tits. He's like, yeah, you put your check mark here and there. He's like, yeah, I like these tits. That's a nice ass. He builds this chick and she's like, boom. My fucking classic shit, man. Funny shit. So, he puts, he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So he said, I'll take all of them. Tells the pimp, I'll take all these women. He's buying them for services. So the pimp leaves, right? She's like, pretty much, hey, so, this, that. Like, hey, you want to smoke some crack? Well, that serious. He's like, yo, you want to smoke some crack? Like, "Ugh." Or they had it somehow. I haven't actually watched the whole movie in a long time. So, anyway, man, they start blowing up. Like, they smoke that shit. Like, it's classic shit, man. A funny fucking movie. So he grabs up what parts he can, he throws them in the trunk of his car. I mean, parts like their legs and their arms and shit like that. And he throws them in the trunk of his car, their heads and shit. And he brings them back to New Jersey and throws them in where he's got his wife's head and like this formaldehyde type shit that he made to keep them preserved, like a saline solution gel type thing. Yeah, you gotta watch the movie. So anyway, when he builds this chick, man, she freaks out, kind of walks out and this, that, starts going around the city and stuff like that because she's still thinking like a whore. You see, she still got the prostitute mentality, right? This is fucking, you got to see the movie. Funny as fuck, man. So anyway, she's got like this prostitute mentality when she comes alive. She's as Frankenstein, like he reanimated her. He brought her back to life. But it's really just her head on like someone else's tits with someone else's ass with someone else's arms. You get so that she comes back to life, but her brain now is like a whore, like a prostitute. She's like, first thing she said, "Hey, want a date? Hey, let's party." That's just, she's like, "Yo, I'm going out to the strip." Oh, So he's like, what? And she knocks him down and shit. She walks out. She's like, go right back to like New York City because this is New Jersey. He has like a little house in Jersey. So she goes back to the city like, she's like, hey, wanted to eat this and that, like sucking fucking $10 and shit. Like a prostitute, She goes back to her old stomping grounds and shit. He's like, no. Like the love of his life and shit. So he's like, no, no. That's when the subway scene, and that's when you see the graffiti parts and stuff like that. But it has a funny ending, man. Yeah, that shit is funny. That shit is a classic. Great movie, man. I mean, it's not Godfather or nothing like that. Yeah, it's definitely up there, man. It's it's classic shit. Like it's a horror movie. I'm a big horror buff. Frankenstein, the old shit I like. I wasn't into too much of the new stuff where it's just straight up like sadistic shit. Like when you like, I don't like shit like Hostel. You get me stuff like that. Even some of them Hellraisers were starting to get a little weird. But yeah, shit like Hostel and Saw. I don't. Yeah, yeah, I'm not into all that. What is that? Just gore, right? Blood and gore. Yeah, that's a different type of mentality I don't fuck with, man. Yeah, what else? But yeah, no, that movie is funny as fuck, man. I like that movie, man. Yeah, that's a good movie. I guess, in a way, it's like horror comedy, which originally horror was comedy, like from Jump. It's just, because it's like fantasy. But I don't know how else to word it. Eh, watch the movie. And the other good thing is all the graffiti in it really does show you, like I've been saying, how at that point, when the subways went down, everyone started, well, not everyone, most people threw in the towel and quit. Fuck it. I'm not going to write on streets. Yeah. Like my friend Lace, perfect example. He's like, I ain't write on streets. I'll write on tunnels. I'll write on clean trains. I'll write on this or that, but not no streets, man. Underground, underground, underground. Like Lace will probably even do like a Long Island Railroad track or something like that, but he won't do no fucking street straight. Yeah, like I could picture him, yeah, I could picture him definitely doing like, if I had like a nice spot, like on like the Metro North or like the Long Island Railroad, he would do it. Definitely, yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Something like that, he would definitely be with. But he wouldn't just run around writing all over the streets. Yeah, that's not his thing. And a lot of people just throw in the towel. They're like, fuck that. It's not the same thing. You know, it's a different thing. It's not what I want to do. So they quit. But some people hung on. And like I said, you also got to take into consideration the location of that, where that was filmed. It's a very, like I said, got a lot of graffiti, Bohemian type neighborhood. Yeah. That's the best way I could put it. And all right, man. Yo, watch it, man. Take care of yourselves. I